Hi everybody and welcome. Today let's look at a volume shaping plugin called W.A.Pro. It's an excellent plugin if you want to achieve that pumping and evolving effect in your EDM productions. My name is Mattias and let's take the tour. Okay, so this is the W.A.Pro plugin from W.A.Production. And it's an envelope shaping plugin, so what you're doing here is you're changing the amplitude, gain, volume, it's the same thing. But you can generally create these pumping sidechaining effects that's typically used in EDM music, pop music. Okay, so I have a demo track here, and let's first listen without W.A.Pro, and then we will listen with W.A.Pro applied. So you can hear that sidechaining pumping effect. So that's typically how you use this type of envelope shaping plugins. But this plugin can do so much more than just these typical sidechaining pumping effects. So let's briefly talk about the interface of W.A.Pro. So what we have here is the main layout, and we have a main volume shaper, and this one actually has 3 different bands. And for each of these different bands, these different frequency bands, we can have a different volume shaper. And you can see the split frequency here. So currently it's set up to split at 250 Hz and 200 Hz and above. So we can have, say, this kind of curve. You can easily add nodes to this curve just by right-clicking here. So we can have this curve in the mid-range, and then in the high range we can have another curve, say something like this, and in the low end maybe do something like this. And hear how that sounds. And what's so cool here is that you can have different lengths for all of these different sidebands. So for the mid-range we could say it's 8 notes and a whole bar for the highs. So it's really easy to make this kind of phasing and evolving effects and breathe some life into your static pads. So let's go back to the main page here. Okay, so let's reset this W.A.Pro back to default here by pressing the preset icon and default. Okay, so you can see that you have some smoothing settings here, and we can listen to, if we set up a little curve here and listen how the smoothing sounds. And you can also adjust the dry wetness here and adjust how much of this effect you want to hear. Okay, so let's look at the buttons here in the interface. And if we set up a curve, something like this, just a general sidechaining curve, you can right-click on the nodes and select the kind of curve that you want to have for these curves. So on this one, it's a double curve. That means that if we drag this middle adjustment node upwards, we will get this kind of S-curve. And we can drag it downwards to get an inverted S-curve. And you can also set it to more complex shapes, say set it to steps, and you get this kind of really quantized steps. And let's set it to a wave. So you can set up some really complex curves in this curve window. Okay, so at the bottom of Dodge Pro, we have the ability to set up macros or templates. So say that we have this template here, and we can go into this second one and we can have this kind of sawtooth shape. And then in the third one here, we will do a totally different something like this. And now we can switch between these in real time. And you can also set up a MIDI keyboard to trigger one of these modes. And the good thing about these macros is that they will switch on your beat, so they will only switch on according to your tempo. So let's set up a different curve here. You can also make use of some preset macros here. So we have a ducking templates, and you can change that by pressing that icon. So we get the gatings. We have different types of gating effects. And we press this button again, and we go to rhythm section. So we have some presets here for the shapes. And we can continue to the more basic shapes, like a triangle shape. So it's really cool to set up a few of these macros and then move between them to get a more emotion and evolving atmosphere into your pads. Okay, so let's continue here and look at the right side. Here we have the levels for each of the bands, the frequency bands in this frequency splitter. And we can solo the bands, we can mute them, and adjust the level, obviously. So let's set up a few different bands here for our patch. So at the main we have this slope upwards, and we can set up the low end here and do a little bit of different shape, something like this. And then in the mid-range we will have a kind of something like this. And in the high end we can do something like this. And maybe make this high end curve a lot slower. And now we can solo the high end. Or maybe solo the mid-range. So it's just super easy to set up this plugin, and you also have this visual feedback to see the gatings or the amplitude for each of the bands. So it's really helpful when you're designing your presets. Okay, so while we're talking about presets, let's check out some of the presets that comes with the Dodge Pro. Okay, so let's scale the interface here slightly before we go into the presets. And just press the name up here to access the preset folder. And we can begin by checking out some of the rhythms here. Can you see the rainbow? Yeah, so there's actually some really nice presets in here that can help you to decide and come up with ideas of your own envelope shapes. So I think this is a really helpful tool, and it's a really great layout, simple to use and really easy to go in here and adjust the different curves for your envelope shapes. Yeah, so that's some insight into Dodge Pro envelope shaping plugin. So I really think this is a cool plugin. It was very simple to use, and it's a great layout with very simple controls. You can't really go wrong with this one. If you're going to create the sidechaining effects and more elaborate phasing effects in your sidebands, this is an excellent choice, I think. And if you want to learn more about Dodge Pro, you can check out the link in the description to this video and download the demo and try it out for yourself. Okay, so if you have any questions, please write them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching today. My name is Mattias, and see you in the next video. Bye.